I want to talk about code organization, organizing your code in your app, and also a little bit about security. So here you see this is a very simple app. We're just going to look at the login logout functionality. So I am logged in here. I can log out. I get the login message. I can log in again. I get that. I log in, right? And the code is right over here. And this is basically what you see in the getting started guide. So we say users, get current user. If the user is not none, then I set the login prompt as such, right? Created a logout URL. I put his nickname in there, and I tell him to log out. Otherwise, I give him the login prompt, right? And then I show him the page down here, and that's basically what it does. Sets that page up. Okay, so let's say you now your application is growing, and you're gonna you decide, well, I need more handlers. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna need a blog handler, and that of course is going to have it's going to extend that, and nope. And then it's going to have its own get method, and it's going to do some stuff about finding the blog. Let me set this up first. /blog. It's going to go to blog handler. Let's say all the blogs are under /blog in your website or web app. So there you go. The thing is, the first thing your blog page, /blog, whatever, is going to need to do is this stuff over here, right? You're going to need to get current user, and if user is logged in, because this whole thing is, that top login page, which we're going to assume every page in your website must have, right? You want every page in your website to have that top thing, that top line that either lets you log in or log out. So what can you do? Well, you can cut and paste all that down here. You can just take all that and copy it over down there, but that is a bad idea, of course. What you can also do is probably a better idea is to create another method. We're going to call it the setup user self method, and then copy all these things over there. There you go. And then this guy is going to call self.setupUser. And this guy is going to call self.setupUser. Of course, we have to now, because we want to call an instance method on the myHandler class. This guy is going to have to inherit from myHandler. And what I like to do, instead of doing well, a couple of things. One way you could set it up so that you have a myHandler that holds all these methods together, and then this guy, we're going to create the main page handler. So the main page handler is going to extend myHandler, and the blog handler is also going to extend myHandler. So everybody is going to extend myHandler. And then myHandler doesn't have any get methods, it just has these other methods. So now self-setup-user is going to work. And let me put something here for the blog handler to do. And also these have to go here. Template values, code organization, and template values. I gotta set that up. And this is gonna be the blog page, and this is gonna be the main page, right? And this is just going to be a helper method. Helps us set up the user. But okay. My blog goes to the blog handler, and everybody else goes to the main page handler. So let me see. This crashes. So that seems okay with the main page, and then blog something goes to the blog page, and we're good. So I can log out. I can go to the blog page, and there I am in the blog page, and I can log in from the blog page. Log in. So it's a very simple way, and that's the kind of thing you want to do. Have one main handler that everybody else calls, right? Setup user and setup user. You don't have to be repeating that code. And similarly, you can have another common one is you also see that this part here, these two calls, I keep repeating them so I can go def render self, and copy that over here. Of course, now this one's going to need the file argument. So base.html, a file, and self.render main.html. Similarly down here. Of course, in a real application, it would be this one would render blog.html, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to use the same one. I think that works. Nope. Main.html. Sorry, it's base.html. There. So that's another one, the render one. Okay, awesome. Now another thing. So let's say the blog handler. So you see the blog handler. We go over here. I'm logged out. I'm logged out now, and then I go to /blog 123. That's not what I wanted to do. /blog that, and you see it's showing me the blog page. Now let's say those blogs. Let's say I only want the blogs to be visible by logged in user. It's very common, right? On Facebook, whatever. You only want the things to be seen by the logged in user. So what can you do? Well, you have this setup user here. You can say after you call the setup user, if you look at the code here, then we have this user variable that is only local, right? But it doesn't have to be. We could make that an instance variable, right? Self.user and also self.user. So that means that now after I call this this one over here too, self.user. So now the user self.user is an instance variable, so I can use it down here, and I can say if after I set up the user, I say is self.user. Or if not, self.user. Either way, it doesn't matter. Then self.redirect to slash. Right? Otherwise, I'm going to render the page. Right? So you might do that in the blog handler. So this is in the blog handler. Let's see if this works. I'm a blog. I'm not logged in. So when I come here, I'm going to get redirected to the main page. Awesome, right? Okay. No, be careful. So that seems to work, right? And it does, right? So what happens is, and you can look at it in, let's look at it in the old Chrome tools. Oops. Network here. So what happens is, as you might expect, it does a get to 302 to /blog, sorry, and gets a 302, which is the redirect, right? And it says, no, 302, and you must go to location slash, right? And so Chrome gets that, and it keeps going. But is that really all that happened? Well, no, actually. So what happened was, and I'm going to bring up my terminal window here, and we can fetch HTTP localhost 8080 slash blog slash. So now I'm curl, if you know, it's just going to do an HTTP request to this URL. It's not going to send any cookies, of course. I'm not logged in. So clearly, it should just send me back to the home page. Of course, it doesn't do that actually. So it gives me all this text, all this page, which we thought was private, right? Because when you do that from the browser, you know, you go to blog, you don't get anything. You get back to the home page, so you're like, okay, that page is private. No, it is not. We can get at that page easily. And that is because we are actually still sending it. Let's go back at the code and see what's happening is self.redirect is not a return statement. So we forgot that return in there. So when we get to this point here, it sends back a 302 to the browser, and Chrome immediately is like, oh, okay, we have to go to this other page, and ignores everything else. Curl and other things are not so smart. You know, they get a 302, they kind of like, I don't know what to do with it. And then they get to this line, our server goes to this line, starts sending all this data. By that time, Chrome has moved on, is ignoring it, but other browsers have not, and we'll actually show that code. So that is the problem. This is what you want to do. You want to put a return statement there. When you put that there, if you go do the curl, you get nothing. Right? So you just got that redirect. No actual data was returned to us. And this works now. I mean, this continues to work here, of course. So we still go to that main page. So remember, it's very important to remember in the App Engine, and in really any platform, the redirect is not a return statement. You know, it doesn't get you out of the get. So do not, be careful about that. Usually you want self.redirect and a return statement after that. Okay. So now one last thing is like, well, maybe I want that for a lot of. So the setup user, this if not self user, self.redirect, that's the kind of, I'm doing that over here. So I would like all my pages to be like that, right? Let's say I want all my pages to be such that I want the setup user to go back to home if the user is not logged in. So I could try to do something like that. But so instead of setting the login page, well, I can't do that because that is going to be used by the main page, right? So if my main page handler calls setup user, I don't want it to keep sending him back and back and back to the main page. So we can't really do that here. Well, we would have to define one user for the main page, setup user method for the main page, and another setup user for the other pages.